Match reaction, Fulham 1, Manchester United 1. Your reaction to that game?
I was very, very disappointed. I actually thought we was going to lose that from the moment Bruno took the pen, wildly kicked it over. United just seemed to lose everything. I thought the first 15, 20 minutes, some football there, some really good football. United were unlucky not to take the lead. But, you know, even in that 15, 20 minutes of good football, the goalkeeper just frightened me to death. United should have had the game won at half-time, and they didn't, and they paid for it in the second half.
Did make a good save though by Inde from King. Also done a long ball to Cunha, a decent opportunity, good save by Fulham's goalkeeper.
Well, he actually did a good, two good saves in that first half, and that long ball he did to Cunha, the way he took it down, Cunha, it was absolutely superb. I thought he played well throughout the game, Cunha. Very unlucky not to score, but throughout the game, always looking for the ball, always giving the ball. That was fine. There's not that many players there, especially that second half. You can turn around and say, yes, you was on it. I thought it deteriorated. And the moment he made the substitutions, Ruben Amorim, after 5 minutes, and taking Ahmad off, who actually nearly scored. He nearly scored in the first 5 minutes, baffled me, because Ahmad, his work rate, back and forth, he was doing the job, free-flowing football through him. I thought it was very strange, them substitutions actually disrupted the rhythm of the team. I don't think they knew what was going on, who was supposed to be where, to be honest.
Does it still frighten you to death at corners with Bayindir in goal?
Who's the goalkeeping coach? I'm telling you now, who's the goalkeeping coach? You've seen what happened last week. Good performance against Arsenal, but the goalkeeper, his mistake, doing what he did, flapping at it. Well, you would have thought the goalkeeping coach would have sorted that out. I mean, let's get something straight. I could have sorted that out, okay? So I'm not happy. I'm having a little bit of rant about the goalkeeper, and quite rightly so. He frightened me to death. I don't know what he's doing, and how somebody doesn't learn from that, I don't know. This goalkeeping, what we've got, the situation, is an absolute nightmare. And I mean a nightmare.
Why is that? Is that because of how long we've left it to try and sort it out? I mean, talks are advancing with Lamens from Royal Antwerp, but is it because of how late they've left it? You know, 2 games already into the season.
Should have been sorted out 3 months ago. Yeah. Said it the other day, should have been sorted out. We're now panicking in the last week, trying to sort it out. You cannot sort that goalkeeper out. You know, a lot of people will be saying you can't sort Onana out. So we've got a problem. There was good football in that game. I was enjoying that first half, and I was expecting the second half to come out and go at it. But do you know something? It looked like last year was back again, because they just seemed to be strolling. I just didn't get it. They gave up the space. They gave up the midfield. They gave up the wings. They were holding back. They weren't cutting out the crosses. They seemed to have the freedom of that midfield. It completely went because they were disorganised, and Ruben should have sorted it out. He actually, by making the substitutes, he made the mistakes. It just disintegrated in front of me, and I was nervous.
Yeah, I do agree with you. From that penalty miss from Bruno in the first half, it seemed after that and going into the second half, the intensity dropped from a lot of the Manchester United players. But Ruben's seen that himself, and within 5 minutes made the changes. But was it the wrong changes to make? You've seen him drop Mount into midfield alongside Bruno as well, and taking Ahmad off, bringing Sesko on, Casemiro off.
Of course it was a mistake. He brought Mount back. Mount seems to be the excuse. Once the substitutes start to be used, it's all like move Mount about, move him here, move him there. And he shouldn't have been moved back there. He should have stayed where he was. Yeah. So for me, the substitutes went from bad to worse, because in the end, he brought Mount off.
I know, for a guy.
So what was the thinking behind it? And that's what I'm saying about the second half. It just didn't seem as though there was any sense to where players were playing. The rhythm had gone. That's no good. That can't continue. You know, I look at it and I thought to myself, the penalty, Bruno talked himself out of the penalty. And then you seen him at the start of the second half going on to the referee. And it's as though people's minds weren't on the game. And I just thought to myself, United were going down the wings. United were fast 1-2-1. You know, they were passing it and moving it. It was really good to see in that first half. And then in the second half, it just stopped. I didn't see anyone really going behind their defence. And then to put Dalot there, which we know Dalot doesn't do the crosses. He doesn't get behind. He did nothing. He created their equaliser. It was absolutely ridiculous what he did, but he's not to blame on his own, because De Ligt, he should have just attempted the ball. But like they say, it looked as though he thinks that it was going to go to the goalkeeper. Well, you don't do that as a centre half. You clear it. Up until then, to be honest, De Ligt was having a decent game.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought the back three in general were good again today. But like I say, going into that second half, especially when them substitutions were made, it just looked like a lot of the United players didn't know what they were doing. There were a lot of them where I thought they looked disorganised, and you've seen it from that goal as well, where it was easier for Fulham to get on the ball on the edge of our box and get crosses in and 1-2s.
They look confused. I look at the training and I say to myself, that first 15, maybe 30 minutes, that's how they train. But quick, 1-2s, move, fast forward and all that. And then when the substitutes start to be made, it just seems to go to pot, because people were playing in their wrong positions. I said all last year, Ruben Amorim, you've been experimenting. You've been experimenting. And you know what? I think he brought it back in that second half. He was experimenting again. You can't continue experimenting, and I say to myself, he didn't start Ugarte, he didn't start Mainu. And you've got to say to yourself, hang on a minute, is there something really wrong going on with these players in the camp? Because for me, Mainu would have made a difference, okay? Ahmad staying on the pitch would have definitely made a difference. But to do that with the substitutes, I'm not saying anything bad against Sesko. He's got to get game time and all that. He's got to get up to it. But, you could see there's a player there, his touches and all that. But the thing is, he was never going to get the ball because United were just standing off. I seen at one point 8 players defending. I mean, that just reminds me of last year, not knowing what to do, desperate to hang on.
I looked in that midfield and I seen Bruno, and I'm thinking to myself now, over the last couple of days, to be honest with you, that Bruno actually can't last a 90 minutes playing in that central midfield role. It looks after about 60, 70 minutes, it seems like the energy, his legs have gone compared to what you see in the first half with Bruno. So what's Kobbie Mainoo got to do to get a chance and be given minutes?
You're 100% right there on Bruno. I looked at him there and I just thought, where's the energy? The energy seems to have gone out of him. Obviously, he was deflated after the penalty, but he never put it to the back of his mind. He just went. His legs had gone. And I thought to myself, you can't run. You haven't got the energy to push this team forward in that. And that's where Kobbie Mainoo should have come on. There is no two ways about it. But he seems frightened to death, okay? Frightened to death of dropping Bruno or making a decision on him during the game, okay? If your legs are gone and you're puffing and all that, which he was, right, and you're not making the right decisions, get him off. And again, he goes for another favourite, Dalot. People are talking about Dalot out there, and he brings Dalot on after 5 minutes. That's poor. So for me, I really was worried we was going to get beat. Something's got to happen here, not just with the goalkeeping position, but what are you playing at? What are you trying to do, Ruben?
The thing is,
what are you trying to do when you change these substitutes? Yeah. Because it's not working.
Yeah. But this is going to happen all the way through the season, game on game. If we don't bring a ball-winning midfielder in this transfer window, it's going to be starting with Casemiro and Bruno, and then on that 60-minute mark, start making his changes in the midfield area. And if we start seeing performances like we've done today from the likes of Ugarte coming on, who's basically was playing in a back three at times instead of picking men up in that central midfield area, we're going to invite more and more pressure onto us.
Yeah, well, we invited the pressure. And then we lost we didn't have the rhythm in the second half. So all we really did was invite the pressure. We gave up the midfield. Did anyone see that? We gave up the midfield. And what have we always said last year and before the season started? We said that midfield needs to be sorted out. We'll get run through by teams at the top. and teams at the bottom, and it clearly happened in the second half. So for me, yes, a midfielder is the priority, but United don't seem to be able to want to do that. They can all see it. The men in suits can see it. Yous can see it out there. We can see it, okay? The manager must know it, okay, because he's got a problem with it. He doesn't know what to do with Ugarte, Mainu, Bruno, Mason Mount. He just doesn't know what to do. Casemiro. We all know Casemiro's legs gone. He's not there for the future. So what's happening?
You've got to look at the actual system, the positions, the formation, whatever you want to call it, with Ruben Amorim, that three at the back, and then the 10s and the striker up front. Sometimes, surely, right, in positions and in certain moments of the game, like we've seen in them last 20 minutes, when we're giving up that midfield, he has to change it, where he then might put three in the midfield and then just three up front, like a 4-3-3.
He's not going to change it. He's not going to change it. He's told us that, okay? But I'll just look even at the goal. Come on, let's get something straight there. Lenny Euro headed it. Great, it went in. It's fantastic, especially for everyone what was there. Really singing, getting behind the team, everything. Cheered me up. I thought, here, we've escaped here. We've got away with one. We've stole the game, because that's what it looked like. But they couldn't hold it out. They couldn't defend proper. They couldn't cut out the crosses. They just didn't get formation. And I thought to myself, that's going out for a throw-in anyway, the header. But I just look at it and I say to myself, do they really know what they're doing? Do they really know? Because they didn't look like as though they knew what they were doing. And the manager and his decisions there. Yes, it's early. It's the second game. But it's a nightmare looking at it thinking, has it really changed? When a manager, for me, as I see it, my opinion, is still experimenting, okay, then there's something wrong. Some good football early doors in that game. And I thought to myself, yeah, it's like Arsenal. The positives are there. We're playing good football. 22 chances we had against Arsenal. And I thought that's the way it was going to go, especially early doors. We was unlucky. We was unlucky not to score. So I just thought to myself, positives are there. And I've got to say it again, Bayindi, the goalie, absolute nightmare from a corner. Frightens me to death, okay? Defending when we don't know what we're doing, when the changes have been made. That is a nightmare. There is a lot of work to do here. But I look at the penalty and, people will want to talk about the penalty. And I say to myself, blatant penalty. I thought he was doing a judo move on Mason Mount, to be honest with you. But overall, the game, there was some high points, and then it just got like last year. And I'm very, very annoyed.
I thought he could have changed it. I think a switch in formation might have helped Manchester United today, especially in them last 20, 30 minutes of that second half, when you've seen that midfield tire and then Fulham started getting onto the ball. But as we know, and you said before, he's never going to change it, and this is what we're going to have to stick with. But I think if he keeps going with that same personnel in midfield and swapping and changing it throughout the game, I think it's going to cost us. But that's just my opinion, and I don't know about yours.
No, 100% right, and I think everyone will agree out there. That midfield just looks like, water on paper just going right through it. It's just absolutely just reeks of like no confidence. And when pressure's on, and when you lose your confidence by not going ahead, it just seems to evaporate. And that's what happened in the second half, and everyone can see it.
For Harry Maguire, Aidan Heaven to come on before Kobbie Mainoo. I mean, Kobbie Mainoo on the ball with the ball at his feet can also grab you a goal as well in important matches. He's just not being fancied by Ruben Amorim. Let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on the game in the comment section, and smash that like button to help support the channel. We'll see you in the next one soon. Thank you.